Hey, from Manchester, this is Forever United TV. Welcome along to another live show, bringing you all up to date with Manchester United news, what's going on the pitch, injuries, updates, loans, transfers, and then what's going on off the pitch, the managerial merry-go-round, which could happen this summer. I want to get into that first of all. Very interesting take today on Roberto De Zerbi. I want to get your opinions on this. Gone through all of the news, updates on Harry Maguire, Manchester United loanees that are out of the door. Anything happening in the last few days of the window? Don't panic is the word coming out of Manchester United. So I'll talk about that as well. But more importantly, I want your comments in the live comment section, everybody. Get in there. Let me know what you're thinking of all of these stories. I was looking through the news before, going through everything. Let's update everyone on what's going on. Was there enough in there to go through a whole live show? And I thought, you know what? I need to see my community. I need to get in there and get talking to everybody because I want some opinions. It's all right when we get through all the comments later, and I do read through quite a lot later on at night when the videos are finished, but I want to get the live chat back in again. We only had one live show yesterday, so bang, here's number 2, and straight away I've come in and there are members calling out other members and it's all gone off. I'm only joking anyway, but yes, I've been told that I've got to tell Leo he's a pleb by one member. You can see who that is in the chat, it's quite clear. And then, yeah, half-wits, and honestly, yeah, I love my community. You're all off your rockers, and that's what I love you for. Anyway, get in there and start talking sensibly to me as well, please, everyone, because I want to talk about De Zerbi as well. Now, if you didn't notice, last night Champions League finished for the group phases. By the way, with the way that the Champions League finished last night, it is now pretty much guaranteed that the 5th place gets Champions League in the Premier League this season. So we are now within 2 places. And that's what we can fight for anyway. 5th and 4th is what I'm trying to get at. That was confirmed last night as well, pretty much. So that is Man United's target right now going forward. So that was done. But also, in the Champions League last night, a certain Marseille, which included Mason Greenwood and their manager, Roberto De Zerbi, actually going out of the Champions League. That's poor for them and that team that they have got there. And De Zerbi apparently is on the verge of the sack. Now, if you listen to the overlap and Roy Keane going back a little bit on his stance with Michael Carrick, he says, great, good luck to Carrick if he gets the job. I hope they give him the job. He's going to stand by what he says, though. Managing Manchester United as an interim manager is completely different to managing Manchester United as a permanent manager when you're expected to go out there and win trophies. You need to get someone bigger. Fair enough. We know what Roy Keane's stance is with Michael Carrick. Anyway, he sort of backtracked on it a bit in there. But like he said there, managing Manchester United and expecting to win trophies and go out there and compete at the highest level as a permanent manager is a completely different ballgame to being interim when the pressure is off. Like he said, sliding door moments and everything aligning for him. All the players coming back for this one big game. The big games that came in for him to be manager of, and the expectation levels of them games not being as much. He could have got away with it. Instead, he's won both. And it looks great for United right now. But I think Roy Keane's point here is, and it brings us into the story today about Manchester United and what Ben Jacobs said in terms of looking for a new manager. I'll just read this out now in terms of that and what has been said regarding the new manager and what United are looking for. And this according to Ben Jacobs. Thomas Tuchel and Roberto De Zerbi, for me, are head coaches and not managers. So they could fit within this Manchester United model. The challenge is not so much the long-term planning and how they fit in. They like the wider teams using data and sports science, picking targets for the future. But the problems more arise when the manager wants to change course due to injuries or lack of form and firefighting, which requires short-term fixes. I think United will want somebody quite fiery, passionate and confrontational, but as ever, these big models work when things are going right, and when going wrong, you see people's true colours, and that's where Ruben and Jason Wilcox fell out. I don't think United will be put off by hiring a big personality as long as they feel they'll be okay with the head coach, not manager title. What difference does it make? He still wants to have a say on what players come in, but right there it tells you, doesn't it? Ben Jacobs' stance on the Manchester United manager and what fits in with the hierarchy at Manchester United there clearly throws up some red flags straight away. We've seen it within 18 months of Ruben Amorim with Jason Wilcox, like what's been said there. Roberto De Zerbi, when it comes to winning trophies and being that fiery type of manager, that passionate manager, confrontational, they don't mind the big character, someone who can handle Manchester United, but you still got to get wins and get trophies. And that's the big problem at Manchester United. De Zerbi's won nothing. He's not won anything. And that's what we've got to look at. Is De Zerbi any better than Michael Carrick because De Zerbi's had a bit more experience than him? Is De Zerbi well known for winning trophies within the Prem? No. La Liga? No. And again, it's like the words don't panic. It's like, let Michael Carrick do his thing. Let him climb up that ladder. And it was interesting what Ben Jacobs said regarding Michael Carrick and what's actually going on and the situation at United. And look, he said this pretty much. Man United told Michael Carrick quite clearly that they will run the permanent managerial process while he is still in situ, with the hope that he can build continuity towards whoever comes in, and that it's going to be through it's going to be very extensive, because they have plenty of time. So Carrick's holding the fort basically for somebody else coming in is what Jacobs is saying. But he also does go in there and say that Michael Carrick could easily work his way up that pecking order. Like we have said many a times now, he can make himself available by performing well for Manchester United now. But De Zerbi, again, this is the name that keeps on coming up for Manchester United. He is just about to be sacked, or he's about to be sacked, from Marseille, according to reports from Fabrice Hawkins as well over in France. Do we want a manager that's left Brighton to go to Marseille to be sacked within 2 years? Is that the right type of manager to go for? Managers don't last long, do they, anywhere? And not every manager fits every single club, and things can go wrong, and I think we have to be aware of that. But still, I don't know is the answer. Like, yes, go and speak to your candidates. Go and get your due diligence. Due diligence. Sorry, it's always a tongue twister, that one. Due diligence done, and get the people and the managers and coaches in line for what you actually need or what you think is the right fit. Speak to them and then compare them to what's happening right now. Compare them to Michael Carrick and let's see how it works. I just don't think De Zerbi jumps out. Like, I liked his football at Brighton. Would I be bothered if De Zerbi comes in or doesn't? Not really. It's not one of the managers that stands out to me and shouts out top notch. You have to get him. It doesn't. He's in the category alongside Oliver Glasner right now, De Zerbi. I feel anyway. That's where he is. And then you've got the next level managers. Then you've got the likes of, obviously then, Thomas Tuchel, who is mentioned yet again in that report there. So Thomas Tuchel, obviously, been at big clubs, international level. Can you imagine if he wins the World Cup? Can you just imagine that? And then Man United are buying the World Cup winning manager. And that's what's going to happen next season. Oh, God, that's set up perfectly for a Manchester United absolute blockbuster Hollywood film, isn't it, in the summer? That's what it's going to be like media-wise around this. The further that Tuchel goes, the more his stock raises, goes up, and the more Manchester United become interested. That's the way I see that happening anyway. Still, you've got Michael Carrick in there, and if he keeps on winning, then you're going to see Michael Carrick slowly move up that ladder of names that Manchester United are looking at. And it's going to come to a point where, like what Jacobs has said there, Ben Jacobs, when he says they have to fit in to what they want. They have to be a coach. Michael Carrick is completely content with being a coach. I don't know what other managers are, because there was definitely a miscommunication or something went wrong with Ruben Amorim where he thought he was the manager and was brought in by Ineos to be a manager. He's always been called a head coach, so what went wrong there with that? And the red flag's there, isn't it? In terms of what fits for Ineos and what doesn't. We've seen it already. They trusted in Ten Hag, sacked him. They went full bore on Ruben Amorim and got him mid-season, failed miserably, sacked him. And now they've got Michael Carrick, the one man with the least experience out of everyone we've spoken about regarding taking this Manchester United job, who's actually getting more of a tune out of these players than anyone has. I'm saying that in terms of the performances that we're seeing. It's as close to, like what Wayne Rooney said, it's as close to Fergie football as we've actually been watching United over the recent years. That's where we're at right now. And it's come from Michael Carrick. No one would have thought he'd have got them 2 wins and be in this position right now. And if he beats Fulham, it's just going to get more and more. And that's pressure, I mean, on Ineos to keep Michael Carrick. And they're going to be looking at other managers while he's doing his job. I think every manager looking at Manchester United or being interviewed by the football club while Carrick's doing this, I think they're going to be a bit nervous. They're going to come into a team that's been winning under Michael Carrick, and this Manchester United side then has to be taken over by somebody new who has to get the results, if not more, than Michael Carrick did. That's not an easy job. Like, obviously, Carrick will get him to a point where they're confident, and obviously, we're looking at players coming into great form like they are doing now, and everyone's playing well. And the manager should be able to come in with that. But if he tries to stamp his authority on it, or Ineos get this decision wrong and someone tries to come in and change everything and what's going on with Carrick, then you're going to get a complete failure straight away. I wouldn't be surprised if Man United brought a manager in and it goes wrong and we see him back at the end of the season again. But then again, someone said a comment a minute ago, if United don't employ Michael Carrick, Spurs or someone like that probably will employ Michael Carrick. And Roy Keane said the same thing. He's going to be in the Premier League with another club if he keeps on winning. If he gets Champions League football, Michael Carrick is going to be managing in the Prem next season. Just depends which team. And that's all you've got to look at, really. Someone else is going to take him, aren't they? And has De Zerbi done enough? I don't think he has. So if you're going to bring somebody else in, it has to be a juggernaut. It has to be a big, big name. And that big name for me is Thomas Tuchel. He's the only one. Adam, I'm positive De Zerbi won't be hired at TalkSport, reporting he won't be in the running, but it's like, however, a big winning manager will be appointed. That's what they said. Yeah, they said that. Ben Jacobs works for TalkSport as well, mate, Wayne. So yeah, it has to be a big name manager. I honestly don't know. I think their eggs are firmly in the Tuchel basket. I've just got that feeling that they are. Good evening, everyone. Away travelling, in and out of Wi-Fi. Where has the talk of De Zerbi come from? It's come from Ben Jacobs, my friend. But it's more in the news because he's about to get sacked by Marseille for not qualifying for the knockout phase of the Champions League. That was pretty bad for them. So, yeah, not looking good. Why are United looking at a manager like this? Forever Positive says that we talk and speculate about players out and in along with head coach, but all the decisions are dependent on being in or out of the Champions League. Well, not necessarily for a manager, because a manager coming in, a head coach, whatever, that decision is going to be made either way. And it's going to be someone coming in to manage Manchester United. And if we're not in the Champions League, that manager can look at that and say, well, that's not my fault. That wasn't my issue last season. I'm coming in to fix this job. It might make it easier for him to step in if United are not in the Champions League. If United are in the Champions League, obviously, he gets more money and he might like it that way. And he might want to fancy his chances in the Champions League for the first season. Like, look, United on their day can go far in the Champions League. If we get the recruitment right this summer, after finishing in the top 5, that is, of course, we need to make sure that that's done first of all. But if United finish in the top 5 and win the Champions League next season, I expect United to get to the last 8. I do. I'm looking around the teams in this Champions League this season. I don't rate Real Madrid. Don't really fancy PSG or Barcelona at the moment. Bayern Munich are good, but look at the amount of teams from England that qualified. Spurs are in the top 8 in European football. Come on. Like, we've beaten Newcastle. They got it in the playoffs. We've beaten City, we've beaten Liverpool, we've beaten Arsenal, we've beaten Chelsea. All them teams are in there in the top 6 of the Champions League phases. Manchester United are competitive with the right system, structure, manager, head coach, whatever you want to call it, in place. Next season, we get the transfer window right. United can go far in the Champions League. And the way that this format is set out right now, it gives teams chance to actually, I feel, find their feet in the competition as well. It gives you a couple of game grace period, I feel, the 8 games in the league phase, and you can still qualify. So, yeah, I fully expect Manchester United to be playing a minimum of 12 games in the Champions League next season. Can you imagine the revenues that brings in for the club and where we'll be the following season, building on top of that? Summer transfer window is massive, and the decision of the manager coming in on top of that, if it's not Michael Carrick, has to be someone that's ready for the Champions League. Carrick might have a chat. I mean, you'd be worried, wouldn't you? Like, if you are a Manchester United, someone at the hierarchy of the club, one of the bosses, and you're looking at Michael Carrick, he's got 0 Champions League experience, apart from one game where he beat Villarreal, which was Unai Emery's side at the time, which is a good scalp to take. I mean, you could look at that and say, well, at least he has won a Champions League game. He's got a 100% record in the Champions League if you go off that math. But is that pushing you away? Carrick's got us to the Champions League, but all he's had to do is play Premier League games. Do we need somebody else in who is going to give us the best chance of winning one of these bigger trophies or going far in one of these bigger trophies? It's a tough one, isn't it? Because winning games at home when you've got 7 days break and full preparation with the quality of coaches that Carrick's got by his side, it should be a simple job with the squad that United have got. And now I think the expectation is that United must finish in the top 5. Otherwise, it is a complete failure. If Carrick gets Champions League football, I still don't think that he's safe in the job. He's going to give himself a good chance of being in it, but I wouldn't be panicking and jumping in and going speaking to De Zerbi because he is free of a contract. And don't forget that. Let's not forget who we're dealing with here with Ineos. If De Zerbi is let go by Marseille, he's another manager in the summer that doesn't have a job come mid-July. I'm only saying mid-July because that's when the World Cup finishes. And obviously Pochettino, Ancelotti, Thomas Tuchel, and obviously now De Zerbi, Oliver Glasner. There's so many. I think Enrique's got one more year at PSG, and then Nagelsmann's got another few years to 2028. But there's going to be so many managers, and that manager merry-go-round is going to be in full throttle mode come the summer. It's going to be interesting. It really is. I'm intrigued. I've still not decided where I'm going yet in terms of which manager. I like Nagelsmann, I like Ancelotti, I like Tuchel, I like Emery, I like all of these managers. And if Carrick does well, I might like Michael Carrick as well. What am I talking about? I do like Michael Carrick. I like what he's doing at the moment, but I like the coaching team that he's got with him. I like the tune he's getting out of these players. But there is something that Roy Keane said which does ring true. And coming into the chat right now, I want your opinion on this. What Roy Keane said was, it's different being an interim to a permanent manager. 100% bang on the money. Because this is where it went wrong with Ollie. The difference with Ollie was, we employed him mid-season. And it all went peak-tong from there. So, get to the end of the season, and then let's discuss it. I think Man United are nailed on for top 4 now. I really do. I was speaking to a Liverpool fan earlier on today. He was saying now he actually fully is convinced that United are going to finish ahead of Liverpool this season. Madness. Ray with a super chat. Let's get into your comments, everybody. Get in there right now if you're live with us. For me, I hope we get Champions League next season. We need a head coach with good Champions League experience as well, because to be honest, we've been rubbish in the Champions League for a while now. That would shout out Thomas Tuchel to me, mate. It would. Just see what else we've got in here, comment-wise as well. If Carrick got it, would just give 12 months at rolling contracts. Maybe. That could be something, mate. You might be right on that one. That might be how Man United approach any manager. It's interesting. We don't know. The truth in this. I'm just checking through the other news as well. It's quite a bit going on at the moment, actually. I will keep you updated on everything towards the back end of the show that's dropping while we have been live as well. Keeping you fully in a loop with everything going on. Get your comments in, please, everybody. I want to know your thoughts on this manager situation. If you had to pick a permanent manager now that would be the best suited for Champions League, who would you go for? And I'm saying suited for the Champions League. Get in the comment section and let me know. DMAG says a lot depends on these players. By name, they're good enough to compete for titles. They just fail to prove it. Doggo Bruno. Let's see where we are in May before I make my mind up about Carrick. I'm trying to not get carried away just yet. That is shocking. Who is that who's changed his name, by the way? That's one of the mods that I know it is. I don't know who it is who's changed the name there. But yeah, that's a poor one. That's a very poor one. Wayne says Ancelotti is the man. Don Carlo again. Kevin says Ancelotti, get him. Quite a few going in. Agree with everything you said about who we should appoint, Adam, but no top manager will put up with this committee. Making decisions, etc. I'd love Enrique, but he's off to them cheats City, I bet. That was from Jamie. In terms of working with this is the point in what Ben Jacobs was saying. This is why I wanted to bring it up, actually. That Manchester United feel like that character, that Tuchel, that De Zerbi character is perfect for what they want. They want this person inside, this passionate manager, this controversial type of figure in at Manchester United. They're happy with this as long as they don't call themselves the manager. Words are cheap, and obviously this is what happened and where it went wrong with Ruben Amorim. You can say you're a head coach, but you still want to be able to have the power over certain things, and you're not going to get that at Manchester United. Grandpa says he wants the Diego Simeone. Ancelotti is 10 years too late, says Tim. Emre, Carrick. Who do I love more, you or Kaz, says Gray. Gray, not you. Definitely not on that one, mate. Bad comparison. Not comparison, sorry. Bad options, let's just say. You're never going to win that one. If I had to pick, I would want Don Carlo again. More Ancelotti. Just say yes or no to Ancelotti in the chat for me, everybody. Just so I can gauge where we're at. I'm not going to do a poll or anything like that. It's Carlo Ancelotti. End of the season. Finishes with Brazil in the World Cup. Take him at United, even though he's at that age now. Like one comment there said that he's 10 years too late for Ancelotti. Is he right on that? Would you go with that? Would anyone say Ancelotti? No, yes, no. Mixed it up. Lots of no's, actually. Lots of no's. Even an F no on Ancelotti in the chat there. Wow. Okay. Lawrence says, absolutely not. Old fella, take a Roy Hodgson first. Come on, that's non-comparable. That's actually really surprised me. Lots of people saying no to Ancelotti. Like, majority, big majority saying no on Ancelotti with that one. Didn't expect that. Too old, says Dino Red. Again, lots of people going in with the age. Would you take Thomas Tuchel? Same again. Thomas Tuchel in the chat, everybody. Would you go for him? Put Tuchel yes or no next to it in the comment section, please, everybody, so I know that we're onto the Tuchel side of it. So while you're at it, please pop a like on the video if you're enjoying the content. We are going to be busy again tomorrow. Obviously, it's Michael Carrick's press conference tomorrow, so we're going to find out any injury updates on everything. He's going to be talking, obviously, about Dorgu and what's happened there. Where are we with Matthias de Ligt? Has anything been spoken in terms of managers, coaches, what's happening with Harry Maguire's contracts and whatnot? Plenty to do. Plenty to do. Right. Yes for Tuchel. Yes, Tuchel. Lots of people saying yes for Tuchel. No Tuchel. He's a big crybaby and failed at Munich and PSG. Before they won it, he got PSG the furthest in their Champions League. Tuchel, yes, but Pulis first, says Block. Everyone's in giddy mode tonight, aren't they? Full on giddy mode. Right, let's get through the rest of the news and what's happening at Manchester United then. In terms of Harry Maguire, now we've been speaking about Harry quite a bit recently in terms of this contract and what's happening. Harry Maguire is waiting for a formal contract extension offer after talks last year, but United intentionally delayed because they are assessing that position. Maguire is ready to sign, be flexible on terms, and would like his future sorted as soon as possible. It remains possible that an extension is tabled. So it's not off the table. It's not on the table either. So what's been said here is that Harry Maguire has had discussions last season over his contract, but nothing was brought forward. He is more than willing to stay, which is why I don't think we've had any sort of news like we have with Casemiro. Casemiro's wages were astronomical. If we were to say Casemiro's on 160 grand a week more than Harry Maguire, you can see why Maguire's got half a chance of staying at Manchester United, can't you? I think that's been made very, very clear there by Man United. No more big contracts. I'd be surprised after Bruno Fernandes to see any player reach 300 grand a week wages at Man United. I don't think that's going to happen again. In terms of if United are in the Champions League, will that happen? Well, let's just see how these players perform. But being made quite clear there that Harry Maguire is doing everything in his power to try and stay at Manchester United. I probably expect that from Maguire. We've said it over the last two shows as well, that Maguire is a massive Man United fan. His family all love Manchester United. They're always at the games, and he will do anything to stay at Manchester United. And we're at that crunch time now. This is where United need to make some calls and make some decisions. And while United are winning, I've said this before as well, while United are winning, these decisions are always going to be more difficult to make because people will think that he can actually still do a job at Manchester United. So yes, meetings took place within the club last week to discuss the January window and assess whether any late opportunities could emerge, and a signing this month has not been ruled out. This is typically the period when a transfer merry-go-round begins and value opportunities can suddenly appear. Manchester United will remain alert, but if no deals are completed, it will be a reflection on the club's decision not to panic buy. Don't panic. There's that phrase again. No panicking from Manchester United in terms of the transfer window. Again, I don't expect much to happen. It's been a real boring transfer window for Man United. All building up to, obviously, the summer transfer window and what Manchester United need to do there. That's going to be exciting, at least in the summer. I think we're going to be linked with nearly everybody. I'm going to be incredibly busy over the summer. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. In terms of, again, more talk about Michael Carrick's training sessions, less intense, not as emotionally intense as Ruben Amorim's training sessions as well. There's been a lot said. Simon Stone talking quite a lot about Steve Holland as well, and how people describe in football being his life. Did you see that story about Steve Holland actually getting to bed at 2 o'clock on Saturday night before the Arsenal game because he'd watched, I think it was 6 of Arsenal's previous games in full or something like that? He is just an absolute football nut, and it runs his life. He's a big United fan as well. I'm glad I've got him in my dugout, honestly. And what we've seen with these players on the pitch, I can definitely see an influence there from Steve Holland on this team at the moment for Manchester United. So, again, all good in that, and all good noises coming out of Carrington. It's weird, isn't it, when it's all quiet and we've got no negative rumours coming out from Carrington within a week. It is a strange feeling, but that is the new Man United right now, and that's where we're actually at. Manchester United, the target that Manchester United wanted, Mete, by the way, he's actually gone to Al Hilal. So we're talking this morning about Kader Mete from Rennes. He's gone to Al Hilal, signed for them. Crazy. So that won't be happening, will it? There is more news on the Cole Palmer side of things as well that came out from the MEN. Manchester United will not move for Cole Palmer this summer for two key reasons. Firstly, and simply, Man United bosses know that Palmer, a boyhood supporter of the club, is out of the club's price range this summer. And secondly, an attacking midfielder is not on the club's list of priorities when it comes to strengthening the side. So yes, unless Cole Palmer kicks up the biggest stink ever, it ain't happening. It's not. In terms of options for Manchester United in midfield, now, before we go into that quickly, again, just on the exits, we talked about Manuel Ugarte this morning. Summer move for him. Fenerbahce have added Joshua Zirkzee to their list of targets. Fenerbahce want to loan Zirkzee, and contacts with Manchester United will begin soon. Again, how much of that we actually read into, I don't know. But like Ben Jacobs says, this is the time of the transfer window now where everything goes a little bit crazy and you start to get lots and lots of stories. One story that we can definitely say is a definite is the current Manchester United squad, i.e. the players that could come in and feature from the academy, are all being sent out on loan. We've talked about Harry and Mass, we talked about Ethan Wheatley, Toby Collier is heading on his way to Hull, and now we've had another confirmation as well, and you can see at the bottom of your screen there, Sekou Kone is set to leave Manchester United to join FC Lausanne Sport on loan until the end of the season. He has been training for several days with his new teammates while awaiting the completion of the administrative formalities. Another player gone from the academy. We're not really rating our academy players, are we, within Manchester United at the moment? It doesn't look that way anyway, does it? That's two midfielders that you might have thought could have done a job in central midfield. Cody's not had anything at all in terms of game time, but Collier could have done it. United making crucial decisions here. And this obviously takes us back to the potential of signing somebody in the last few days here now of this window, in that you're letting all of your academy players go. There's no one who's going to step up from that academy now in central midfield, I don't think, anyway. Could United actually go in to the last few days of this window and get somebody, get some cover for Michael Carrick? Is that doable? I honestly don't think it is still. I really don't. But let's see what happens. It shuts on Monday. I'll be glad when this window is over for so many bleeding reasons. The names that we've been linked with have been annoying because we know that they're not good enough. We know there's no future in these signings. We want the squad to improve, but we know it's not going to. So many negatives from this transfer window. But then again, people might say, look, if we get Champions League and we didn't spend any money in January, then it was proved to be the right call because we can now spend all of that money in the summer transfer window. And again, Ben Jacobs is talking about Adam Wharton, Carlos Baleba. The fight for Adam Wharton is well and truly on. There's going to be a number of teams in for him. Man United and Liverpool mainly, but Chelsea are supposedly in for Adam Wharton as well, which isn't good for us unless we're in the Champions League, because then we can be competitive. The interim manager took our eye off transfers. The new manager in the summer will do the same. We are mugs, mate, but I'm a happy mug. Love the content. Cheers for that. I don't think so. I think the summer they have to spend money. They have to spend money in the summer. And I think they will. I think they'll spend a massive amount. I think it'll be a record-breaking transfer window for Man United. I do. I think we'll spend more money this summer than we ever have because we need to. Like the reports we've been talking about, you cannot just allow the likes of Casemiro to leave Manchester United and bring in a half-hearted transfer. It has to be the best of the best. We already needed one of them players on top with Casemiro in the side. So two elite midfielders and then another midfielder at least on top of that who can be further down the pecking order. Don't count out the Ruben Neves situation again. Man United have shut this down through January. Don't count out João Gomez. I think he could come back into the reckoning in the summer as well. And there'll be many others as well. Shows you how crazy this window is. People spending money. Manchester City have just spent the same amount of money as Crystal Palace have. So City have spent 85 million and they have got Crystal Palace's captain and one of the best centre-backs in the world right now in Mark Guehi and one of the best wide players in Antoine Semenyo. 85 million. Crystal Palace have spent exactly the same amount of money on Brennan Johnson and Strand Larsen from Wolves. I tell you what, if I am a Crystal Palace fan right now, I am livid with that. But it just goes to show, doesn't it? Money can be wasted in January on stupid targets, and United haven't done it. So I expect a big summer. Look, we could also say that last January, Manchester United bought two absolute gems. 27.5 million brought us both Aiden Heaven and Patrick Dorgu this time last year. So January can give you decent players, but can it give you instant impacts in the Premier League? Both Dorgu and Heaven have taken their time. United have got 15 games left to go, and they need to win the majority of them. Who can you bring in January that's going to impact that? Not much out there in terms of the names that we've seen. And I'm not making an excuse there for it. I'm just saying and expecting that everything that we've saved here, we are going to be spending in the summer. We better bleeding and be spending it in the summer anyway. God. Right. Let's get some more news coming in, then I'll get into the comment section again. Lots and lots happening at the moment. Let's see what else we've got in here as well. Bear with me a second, everybody. I'm just getting up the news now on my screen. In fact, actually, it's calmed down a little bit now. And at this, newly obtained exclusive data, I reveal the exact breakdown location of 46,800 Manchester United season ticket holders by country. God, someone's going deep there on that one. My God, got nothing to do, no football to report on. Still cannot believe that's the injury-prone Luke Shaw has started all 23 of Man United's Premier League games this season. More minutes than any other player at Manchester United this season. Good God, what a stat that is. Someone has pulled that one out. Luke Shaw started every league game. Wow. Now that is a miracle on its own. If that doesn't give you confidence that something crazy could happen this season, like getting in the Champions League, can't believe that. What a stat that is. That is mega. Right, checking through everything else. Porto look like they're going to take free agent Tyrell Malacia. That looks like that's moving forward as well, maybe for the summer again. And that pretty much is the up-to-date news anyway on Manchester United in terms of the transfers. Nothing major. Again, like I said, I just cannot wait for this window to shut so we can concentrate on the juicy summer transfer news and what's coming up. Let's see what we've got here now. Will you be at the Fulham game, Adam? I will. I will be there, everybody. I am busy on that day leading up to the game now, so you might be able to catch me after the game right next to the ticket stand. So ticket office, that's usually where I'll be after the game anyway. Shaw is only fit because it's a World Cup, but he's not in that World Cup squad yet. Block says the same thing. I know what you're saying. Happens all the time with Luke Shaw, doesn't it? But still, though, Luke Shaw to be fit and available for every bleeding game, that's unheard of. That is a football miracle. If you pop a like on the video now, everybody, for everyone who's in the room with us, if you're enjoying the content, then we should be getting close to that 200 mark. If you haven't already, please like the video. Also, make sure you smash the subscribe button as well to stay up to date with all of the Manchester United news going on around the club. I got you covered. We do need something a little bit more juicy, though, to get our teeth into. We really do. Hopefully, Michael Carrick can give us some upbeat news in that press conference tomorrow. So don't forget tomorrow, everybody. We're back at 8 o'clock in the morning. Then we'll have Michael Carrick's press conference live. All the reaction from that coming live to you here on the channel as well. And then, of course, obviously we'll have any updates later on through the day as we lead into what is going to be a very, very important day for Michael Carrick and Man United. Can we beat a run-of-the-mill mid-table side in Fulham? Beating the big guns is easy for Man United. Beating the run-of-the-mill, different ball game. And that is where we're going to finish this evening's show, everybody. Thank you so much, you absolute legends. Everyone, please get your comments in after the show is finished. I love you all. I will see you all in the morning, 8 o'clock. Make sure that you are there. All the updates coming your way. Thank you, Super Chatters. Thank you to all the mods in the chat there for organising as well. And have a great evening, everybody. Like, share, subscribe. See you all tomorrow.